Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's exciting deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins, where even the smallest denomination like a humble 1-cent piece can surprise you with its incredible hidden worth. And in this video, we'll be revealing how a seemingly ordinary 1997 1-cent coin has commanded an astounding $348 in the collector's market. A true marvel of numismatics driven by fascinating errors, rare mistakes, and surprising minting anomalies that transform everyday change into a potential treasure trove. And if you've ever doubted that pocket change could be worth big money, then you're in for a treat, because the 1997 penny is more than just a coin. It's a story of how tiny details, almost invisible to the naked eye, can elevate its value exponentially in the eyes of experts and enthusiasts alike. Starting with the simple fact that 1997 was not initially considered a particularly noteworthy year for Lincoln cents, with production in the billions, making it seem like the odds of discovering anything valuable in that year's mintage were slim to none. Yet history has shown us time and again that hidden treasures often come in the most unexpected forms, and the 1997 penny has proven to be a perfect example of this, particularly due to its range of mint errors, which include but are not limited to die cracks, die chips, double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clip planches, and more, all of which can significantly increase the desirability and market value of a coin. And these types of errors are not merely interesting quirks, they are anomalies in the minting process that turn a mass-produced object into a one-of-a-kind collector's item. And let's begin by exploring the double die error, a standout among the rarities that have surfaced in 1997 pennies, where the doubling usually appears most prominently in the inscriptions like "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or the date itself, and when examined under magnification, the letters appear to be shadowed or to have an extra layer, which results from a misalignment between the hub and die during the minting process, creating a dramatic visual effect that instantly attracts numismatic interest, especially because such errors, depending on severity and clarity, can fetch significantly higher prices, often in the hundreds of dollars. And another remarkable error seen on the 1997 penny involves die chips, also known as cud errors, where a small piece of the die breaks off, causing an unintentional raised blob of metal to appear on the coin during the striking process. And while this may sound like a flaw, in the world of coin collecting, these imperfections are sought after, especially when the chips occur in prominent locations such as Lincoln's face, the rim, or within the lettering, making the coin visually distinct and unique. And these can range in value depending on placement, size, and aesthetic appeal, with some fetching prices between $50 to over $300. When the chips are particularly large or dramatically placed. And yet another variant of error that makes the 1997 penny valuable is the off-center strike, where the coin is struck when not properly aligned with the dies, resulting in part of the design being missing or shifted. And depending on how off-center the strike is, these coins can be especially valuable, particularly if the date is still visible, which is crucial to verifying the year and assessing rarity. And coins with off-center strikes of 10% to 90% with visible dates can range from $50 to hundreds of dollars, especially if they're in good condition and accompanied by other errors. And speaking of condition, the value of error coins like the 1997 penny also heavily depends on their state of preservation, with coins graded higher by professional grading services commanding a significant premium. For instance, a mint state, MS 65 or higher example of a 1997 penny with a known error can fetch exponentially more than a worn circulated example, especially when certified by a reputable third-party grader such as PCGS or NGC. And let's not forget the broad strike errors, which occur when the coin is struck outside the retaining collar that normally gives the coin its standard dimensions, causing the coin to expand beyond its normal diameter and creating a warped or stretched appearance that instantly sets it apart from standard coins. And collectors love these because they offer a dramatic visual difference and are more easily noticed, often leading to values ranging from $75 to over $250, depending on severity, location, and whether other errors are also present. And we also find examples of the 1997 penny with clip planchet errors, where the coin is missing a portion along its edge due to a mishap during the blanking process. And when these clips are large and dramatic, they become highly collectible, particularly when they don't interfere with the date and lettering, allowing full attribution of the coin's identity. and such examples can trade for over $100, sometimes even more if the clip is crescent-shaped or if there are multiple clips present, and other less common but equally fascinating errors include struck-through debris errors, where foreign material like grease or thread gets between the die and the planchette, resulting in unusual imprints or missing design element on the finished coin, making each coin truly one of a kind and sparking strong interest from specialists in mint error coinage. And in the world of such anomalies, even coins that were accidentally struck on the wrong planchette have been reported or speculated about in the 1997 series, such as cent struck on dime planchets, creating a coin that is lighter, smaller in diameter, and missing key design elements from the edges. An error that can push values to $300 or more because of its undeniable rarity and collector appeal. And then there are the small but potent die clash errors, which occur when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchette in between, causing parts of the opposing design to be imprinted where they shouldn't be, and if these clash marks are visible to the naked eye and well preserved, they can bring tremendous value to a coin, especially when combined with other types of errors. And another niche area of interest is the so-called floating roof variety, where part of the roof of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse appears disconnected from the pillars due to over-polishing of the die, and while subtle, collectors enjoy such anomalies especially when they occur in otherwise high-grade coins, driving demand and prices higher for specimens where the effect is particularly noticeable. And while we discuss these errors and their individual appeal, it's worth noting that what truly amplifies the value of any given 1997 penny is the combination of multiple anomalies, such as a double die with a die chip or an off-center strike combined with a clip planchette, which makes the coin even more scarce and desirable, increasing the level of competition among collectors when such examples appear at auction. And recent auction data has confirmed the strength of this market, with various error 1997 pennies selling for over $300, and some private sales or collector-to-collector transactions reportedly going even higher depending on coin quality, error visibility, and certification status. And it's also important to understand that while billions of 1997 pennies were made, only a tiny fraction bear these extraordinary features, meaning that finding one is like discovering a needle in a haystack, yet people continue to find them in old change jars, pocket change, estate collections, and even in circulation, proving that it is still possible today to find a rare and valuable coin without needing to spend a fortune up front. And the thrill of that possibility is what keeps the coin collecting community so vibrant and engaged. And the 1997 penny serves as a perfect example of how a coin's journey from minting press to collector's showcase can be filled with fascinating quirks, rare mistakes, and a touch of historical intrigue, with every blemish or deviation offering a clue into the chaos and complexity of the minting process. And if you're serious about finding one of these gems, it pays to learn what to look for, to invest in a good magnifying glass or coin loop, to educate yourself with coin reference books and online resources, to compare your finds against high-resolution error coin photos, and even to consider submitting potential candidates for professional grading and authentication, because not only does this increase the resale value and credibility of your find, but it also protects your investment and ensures your coin is properly preserved for the future, and beyond the financial gain. Owning a rare 1997 penny offers the satisfaction of holding a tangible piece of minting history in your hand, a silent witness to a moment when machinery, metal, and circumstance collided in just the right way to produce something unexpected and valuable. And as more collectors become aware of the range of errors that exist on the 1997 1-cent coin, and as demand for these rare pieces increases, we can expect prices to continue rising, making today a perfect time to search through your change or revisit your coin albums. Because who knows, you might already have one of these rare coins sitting unnoticed in a drawer, waiting to be discovered and appreciated for the miniature marvel it truly is. Next, 1982 1-cent USA coin. Rare coins, fascinating numismatic stories, and jaw-dropping values converge to keep you informed, engaged, and maybe even inspired to look into your pocket change a little more closely, because today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating, unexpectedly valuable, and sought-after pennies in modern coin collecting history, the 1982 1-cent coin, which under certain conditions, specific minting errors, and dramatic die anomalies, has been known to fetch upwards of $234 or more depending on its condition, rarity, and the uniqueness of the mistake it carries. And we'll not just skim the surface but explore every layer and nuance that makes this particular coin from 1982 an outstanding example of how a simple copper or zinc penny can become a treasure worth hundreds of dollars, and in some cases, Even more when the right collector sees the rare defect that transforms a mere 1-cent piece into a slice of American minting history, because 1982 was a critical transition year in the US mint's history, where for the first time since 1909, the fundamental composition of the penny underwent a significant change, moving from a 95% copper and 5% zinc alloy to a predominantly zinc-based coin with only a thin copper plating due to rising copper prices. And this mid-year change in composition not only created logistical and minting challenges, but also gave birth to a unique scenario in which both copper and zinc versions of the coin were produced within the same year, not to mention the fact that these were issued in a variety of styles, including both large and small date versions across different mint facilities, adding up to a total of 7 recognized regular issue varieties: 1982 large date copper, 1982 small date copper, 1982 large date zinc, 1982 small date zinc, 1982 D large date copper, 1982 D large date zinc, and 1982 D small date zinc, with the exception of one mystery that has stunned collectors: the elusive and highly controversial 1982 D small date copper, which theoretically should not exist since all small date Denver minted cents were officially transitioned to zinc planchets, but at least one authenticated example was discovered, verified, and certified, skyrocketing its value into the thousands and igniting interest in the entire 1982 series, and even beyond that extremely rare piece. Collectors have discovered that certain 1982 cents with specific kinds of striking errors or unusual combinations of planchet and die alignment issues can be worth hundreds of dollars, especially when you factor in variables such as double dies, off-center strikes, brockages, die caps, die clashes, repunched mint marks, and transitional planchet errors which occurred due to the overlapping production of both metal compositions. And one of the most lucrative categories to look for in 1982 pennies are transitional errors, where a coin that appears to be struck on a copper planchet may actually be a zinc core or vice versa, with incorrect weight revealing the true composition, and this discrepancy can only be determined accurately through precise weighing using a digital scale, since copper cents weigh approximately 3.11 grams while their zinc counterparts weigh around 2.5 grams, and collectors and dealers have long relied on these small differences to spot truly rare coins, with many cases of unsuspecting individuals discovering valuable errors simply by weighing their pocket change and uncovering a 1982 D small date weighing 3.11 grams, thereby revealing its improbable copper nature and pushing its value to astronomical levels for a 1-cent coin. And apart from planchet-related mysteries, 1982 cents are also infamous for a host of die varieties that occurred as the mint juggled multiple design hubs and working dies across facilities, leading to noticeable variations in number, size, and style, particularly with the date, where collectors can discern between large and small date types by comparing the shapes and positioning of the number 2, which has a sharply curled tail in small date versions, and the number 8, which appears more rounded in large date versions. And despite appearing minor to the casual observer, these design differences form the foundation of entire collecting strategies and error hunting missions among serious numismatists. And as if that weren't enough complexity, the transition year also saw the mint experimenting with blank planchets and dies under fluctuating mechanical conditions due to wear, leading to coins that exhibit die deterioration, doubling, blurry edges, inconsistent rim definitions, and various forms of mechanical doubling, which, while less valuable than true double dies, still attract collector attention for their diagnostic features. And speaking of double dies, a few rare examples from 1982 show clear signs of class 4 or rotated hub doubling, where the date, motto "In God We Trust," or the word "Liberty" shows visible shadowing or separation, especially under magnification. And when these double dies appear on the already rare copper or transitional planchet variants, the value can spike dramatically. And some of these double die varieties have been authenticated and graded by major services like PCGS or NGC with notations that highlight their error type, composition, and die variety, all of which add to their numismatic pedigree and final value at auction or private sale. And then there's the realm of mint mark anomalies such as repunched mint marks, RPMs, where there's D. The mint mark from the Denver mint was punched more than once at slightly differing angles before the practice was automated, creating overlapping impressions that are visible under a loupe, with specific RPMs from 1982 commanding premiums when found in pristine condition. And let's not forget coins that were struck off center or misaligned, as many 1982 cents show dramatic misalignment errors where the obverse and reverse dies were not correctly aligned, leading to coins where parts of the design are cut off or the coin is shaped asymmetrically. and depending on how far off-center the strike is and whether the full date and mint mark are still visible, these errors can sell from dozens to hundreds of dollars, especially when combined with unusual planchette weight or die variety. And some rare 1982 cents have even been found with die cap errors where a coin gets stuck to the die and strikes multiple coins, creating a concave or expanded dome shape on subsequent strikes, which distorts the coin's design in fascinating ways that are considered highly collectible. And then there are blockage errors where a previously struck coin sticks to a die and leaves an incused mirror image on the next planchette, creating a bizarre but beautiful mistake that adds major value and can be found among coins of this era. And then there's the collector psychology, which drives the price up further, because 1982 represents a perfect storm of numismatic interest, a year of significant transition, varied dies, different compositions, multiple mints, and a wealth of potential for finding oddities. And since so many varieties exist and some of them remain incredibly rare or even unique, collectors continue to hunt them relentlessly, pushing prices higher as demand for key types such as the 1982 AD small date copper grows. And that's not even factoring in the impact of coin grading, where a coin certified as MS65 red or higher by PCGS or NGC commands substantial premiums over lower grade or ungraded versions, and due to the softness of the copper planchets and the frequency of zinc rot in their zinc counterparts, high-grade examples are difficult to find, making mint-state examples especially desirable, and many collectors search bank rolls, change jars, an old collection specifically hoping to stumble upon that one misidentified or overlooked 1982 cent hiding in plain sight. And with digital scales, calipers, microscopes, and online coin communities making identification easier than ever, the hunt for valuable 1982 pennies is not just for professionals or dealers but something any collector or curious individual can do. And all of this combined, the overlapping metal compositions, the shifting minting practices, the design changes, the obscure varieties, and the thrilling possibility of a high-value discovery, makes the 1982 1-cent coin one of the most engaging and profitable one-year issues in modern American numismatics. And while not every 1982 penny will fetch a fortune, those that display rare errors, unusual compositions, or are found in high condition can easily command prices well above face value, often exceeding $234 depending on the specific combination of factors at play. And this is why more and more people are diving into the world of coin collecting, armed with magnifiers and knowledge, sorting through change not just for fun but with the real potential of turning 1 cent into hundreds of dollars. And the 1982 penny, with all its complexity, mystery, and opportunity, continues to be a shining example of how something so small and seemingly insignificant can carry immense value and historical importance, offering an exciting gateway for both novice collectors and seasoned numismatists alike to explore the intricate and endlessly rewarding world of error coins. Last 2015 1-cent USA coin, we uncover rare coin treasures that could be hiding right in your pocket change. And today we're diving deep into a seemingly ordinary coin with an extraordinary story, the 2015 Lincoln 1-cent coin, which under certain rare circumstances and due to specific error varieties and minting mistakes, can be worth an astonishing $400 or even more to passionate collectors and numismatic experts alike. And as we unravel the details of how a single penny from 2015 can command such high value, you'll gain insight into the fascinating world of coin errors, the nuances of the minting process, and how a combination of die anomalies, planchette flaws, misalignments, and other accidental yet compelling factors can elevate the status of a basic coin to that of a highly desirable collectible. So stay tuned, because the journey through the specifics of the 2015 penny is as surprising as it is educational, and perhaps by the end of this video, you'll be inspired to take a closer look at your own pocket change or coin jar for similar hidden gems, because the 2015 penny isn't just a copper-plated zinc disc with a face value of 1 cent but potentially a gateway into a niche community of treasure hunters and collectors who understand the true value of rarity, history, and production anomalies. And to understand what makes this particular coin so special, we first need to delve into the standard specifications of the 2015 Lincoln penny, which was minted primarily at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with over 9 billion examples struck in total, which means it's among the most common circulating coins in the US. And yet, hidden within that vast number are coins with die breaks, doubling, planchette errors, and striking irregularities that elevate them far beyond their humble denomination. And what turns an ordinary 2015 cent into a $400 collectible is not always immediately visible to the untrained eye, which is why understanding the nuances is so Important, so let's first examine the most talked about error types associated with this date, starting with the double die obverse, which refers to a misalignment or multiple impressions of the die during its creation, causing visual doubling especially noticeable on Lincoln's eye, the word liberty, the date 2015, or even the motto "I in God we trust." And collectors particularly value strong examples of this kind of doubling because it's a visible and dramatic flaw that's easily recognizable. Under magnification, and depending on the sharpness and location of the doubling, values can jump from a few dollars to hundreds, and when combined with other features like mint mark anomalies or die deterioration, prices can increase significantly. And then there are examples of off-center strikes, where the coin is not properly seated in the striking chamber, leading to a portion of the design being cut off or missing entirely. And the more dramatic the off-center strike without compromising the date and mint mark visibility, the higher the value, especially when 50% or more of the design is shifted yet the date remains readable. And there are reports of 2015 pennies struck as much as 60% off-center that have sold for hundreds at auction. And next, there's the issue of die cracks and die chips, which occur when the die used to strike the coins begins to fracture due to stress and prolonged use. And while these kinds of errors are relatively common in general, certain 2015 examples exhibit extreme die cracks, particularly along Lincoln's head or the reverse shield, giving rise to popular nicknames such as spiked head Lincoln or cracked skull. And these dramatic visual errors often become collectible variants when enough of them surface with similar characteristics, creating a mini market among enthusiasts for that specific variation. And another contributing factor to the increased value of certain 2015 pennies is the occurrence of retained cud breaks and rim-to-rim die breaks, which result in parts of the die breaking off entirely and leaving large raised areas of metal on the coin, sometimes spanning from the rim into the design itself. And this type of error is not only visually striking but also increasingly rare in modern coinage due to improved quality control, making its appearance on a recent issue like 2015 noteworthy and valuable. And in addition, some 2015 pennies show examples of broad strikes and partial collars, which are the result of the coin being struck outside the retaining collar or only partially within it, giving the coin a stretched or warped appearance and often slightly larger diameter, making them stand out instantly to experienced collectors. And then there's the reverse design, which still features the Union Shield first introduced in 2010 to replace the previous Lincoln Memorial reverse. And although the design itself is standardized, errors in die polishing or die fill can result in missing or weakened design elements such as missing shield lines or partially obliterated lettering like 1 cent or United States of America. And such anomalies, particularly when clear and consistent, can attract a collector premium, especially when attributed and slabbed by professional grading services. And speaking of grading, coins that exhibit these types of errors and are also found in uncirculated condition or high mint state grades such as MS66 or MS67 can see a dramatic spike in value, with the premium compounding for both rarity of condition and uniqueness of the error. And some extremely clean 2015 error cents have crossed the auction block or private sales platforms for prices in the range of $350 to $500 depending on how rare the error type is and how pristine the condition remains. And interestingly, 2015 also saw a number of transitional error discussions, including rumors and isolated cases of zinc planchets being struck with older or misaligned dies or in incorrect die configurations, leading to confusion or classification challenges within the numismatic community. And although such examples are exceedingly rare, their existence, sometimes only a handful, helps drive up curiosity, desirability, and market value. And another rare but captivating error type found in a few 2015 Lincoln cents is the so-called struck-through error, where foreign material such as grease, thread, or even a piece of metal becomes lodged between the die and the planchette during striking, resulting in a strange, often dramatic deformity or void in the coin surface. And depending on how complete or eye-catching the strike-through appears, it can transform an otherwise typical coin into a sought-after piece with market values easily exceeding the $100 to $300 mark, with standout examples topping even that. And some numismatists have noted coins where threads from mint employee uniforms were inadvertently struck into the coin's face, a once-in-a-blue-moon type error that creates instant buzz among collectors. And another compelling reason why 2015 pennies can be worth so much more than face value is the phenomenon of misaligned dies, where one die, typically the obverse, is slightly or dramatically out of alignment with the reverse die, causing uneven striking pressure and sometimes a doubling or shadowing effect on only one side of the coin. And again, This is one of those errors that vary in value based on severity and eye appeal but can easily elevate the coin into the $200 to $400 range if particularly striking and clean, and one must also consider the psychological and collector-driven appeal of modern error coins in general, as the numismatic world has seen increasing enthusiasm for errors in recent years, especially when tied to newer coins that are widely available in circulation, and 2015 pennies fall squarely into that category, meaning that not only are these coins attainable, but the thrill of the hunt and the hope of discovering a rare error yourself has driven interest and thus market value upward. And this brings us to the importance of professional attribution and grading, because while many error coins can be detected by collectors with good eyes and a loupe or microscope, sending your coin to a professional third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication, error classification, and encapsulation can dramatically boost its credibility and sale price, especially if it's assigned a clear error designation and a high mint state grade. And when a 2015 penny with a dramatic error such as strong double die or retained cud is graded MS65 or higher and sold through well-known auction houses or collector marketplaces, it can easily attract bids far exceeding $400 depending on the buyer's interest, the visibility of the error, and the overall rarity of that particular error variant for the year. And lastly, the growing influence of online platforms like YouTube, TikTok, eBay, and collector forums has magnified the appeal and awareness of error coins, with some coins gaining viral fame that further inflates their perceived and actual market value, and 2015 Lincoln cents have absolutely benefited from this trend, with more collectors documenting and searching for obscure errors and sharing their finds with the community, thus driving up interest and encouraging others to scrutinize their change more closely. And when you combine the sheer volume of coins minted, the types of errors that have surfaced, the community interest, the documented high-value sales, and the ever-evolving interest in modern US coinage, it becomes crystal clear why a single 2015 penny, under the right conditions and bearing the right error, can become a $400 or even more collectible, proving that the world of numismatics is alive and well and filled with surprises that might just be waiting for you in your next handful of change.